Good morning and welcome. Sunday satsang from Arizona. Stephen, you don't look as pissed off as last week. You must have moved out of Colorado to a friendly place like California. Enrique always looks happy. Something is wrong with him. Padma's smiling too. Something's wrong with her. Kathleen is not smiling. That's the way you should be. Feeling the burdens of the world. I love you all. I look forward each week to this time together. This morning I feel such bliss. I hope you can all feel bliss this morning and during the rest of the week. It comes from turning within and resting in your own energies, resting in your own beingness, and gradually going deeper and deeper into your own beingness. I'm recording this time, and I've been forgetting to record it, and I want to post it too. As you know, my teachings have constantly evolved over the years. 12 years ago, I was strictly teaching Robert. Gradually moved away from that to more interpersonal, relational spirituality, more emotional introspection, spiritual introspection, feeling. You're late, Angela. I'm going to take away your silver star for today, for being late. God, I love you all. But since I'm going to post this and I'm starting a new way of teachings, a teachings based not on renunciation of the world as Robert would have you do, or Ramana would have you to do, or Nisargadatta would have you do, but one of not renunciation, but turning away instead to feel the joy within your own self that is there, if you know it, if you recognize it, as Albert knows it. And Enrique appears to know it because of his apparent happiness. And then afterwards, I want to do a little exercise that will help you, for those who haven't opened their third eye, to begin to see the light of consciousness from within, beginning at the third eye. But first, I want to read to you the post I wrote last night and slightly revised this morning. And it's all about renunciation as traditionally required by Robert, by Ramana, Nisargadatta, and the wisdom traditions for 5,000 years or more. To feel the intensity of your problems in the external world and recognize that the external world will never make you happy, and to leave the external world alone and go within and find the depths of your own being, and there to find happiness. But the emphasis seemed to be on renunciation. Robert over and over again talked about leaving the world alone, ignoring the world, it is illusion, ignoring your problems because they're temporary and transient, and to find the unchanging within you. But the emphasis was on renunciation, and with a lot of teachers, the emphasis is still on renunciation, on destroying vasanas, destroying habits, destroying attachments, so that one can look within. But what if one looks within without worrying about destroying attachments? So this is the statement that I wrote this morning, which I want to post later because it'll be part of this video. I call it Renunciation. Who needs it? We have all heard celebrated Advaitic teachers such as Ramana, Robert Adams, and Nisargadatta saying we must renounce the world, pay it no heed, ignore even your own problems, because they have no reality due to their ever-changing, transient nature. Zen masters say, ignore emotions. Ignore the internal energies that you feel. Ignore inner visions. They are all makyo, illusion. But many hearing this say, this style of spiritual life is not for me. Why would I want to give up on sex? Why do I want to give up on love? Why do I want at all to leave this material world? Of course, for most of these people, their deepest spirituality might be heat yoga, practiced in some yoga center, which has almost nothing to do with real spirituality. Many people feel in a quandary of how do I quit this mundane lifestyle because I have so many responsibility and relationships, children to care for, parents to care for. Formulating the problem in this way is to leave yourself trapped. So instead, we take a tantric approach. Rather than saying we will drop all attachments to the world, seek and destroy all habits and attachments within the external world, and all relationships that keep us from going within, let's say instead, we are going to seek the greatest pleasures within, because we know that the pleasures of the world and how fleeting they are, and where suffering far outweighs the pleasures in the external world. Instead, the Tantra teacher or guru who knows that people do not really take to renunciation, but are easily tempted by new and better pleasures would say, the pleasures you feel now are so slight, so hollow, and so temporary. But if you turn within, you open to a whole new universe of pleasure that you could not even dream of before. You open yourself to the ability to open your heart fully, feeling completely relaxed in your own beingness without any problems, obligations, or suffering. When your heart opens, your entire body and mind relax, and you fall into an oceanic bliss. The more you can relax your heart, the more your whole being begins to relax. And with that relaxation, all of the energy centers within the physical and subtle bodies open up, begin to communicate with each other, and coordinate consciousness and activities. You become totally in touch with what Robert calls the power that knows the way. Now you will find that instead of turning within, providing only experiences of nothingness or quietness or peace, that you become immersed in something entirely beyond the physical body and its needs and pleasures. Instead, you are immersing in your own sense of beingness, your sense of being alive, your sense of being something separate from your body, and which is witnessing your physical body. You have found what Aurobindo calls the psychic body or psychic self. And in due time, you will find that the psychic self has infinite levels, which you can explore for the rest of your life in ever-deepening and awe-inspiring ways. This new world provides endless pastimes for self-discovery and deepening happiness. just a hair breadths deeper than the opening of the heart experience, is feeling the energy circulating within your subtle body, whether it be of the kundalini sort, the chi sort, prana experiences, or through any number of ways of categorizing and labeling the internal energy one begins to feel when one's attention is on one's own experience of self, the experiences of existing as a living, sentient being, immersed just in that sensation of being alive and feeling, of being sentient, of being aware. Both women and men, but especially women, can go deeper easily and have the bliss of those energies transition from the heart to their womb and vagina, where they will begin to experience spontaneous orgasms without even the thought of sexual intercourse, but in close conjunction with the general openness of their entire being to ever deeper sensations than those provided by the external world. Almost everyone regards orgasms as only associated with physical sex, but that's not the case. Orgasms have almost nothing to do with physical sex, although physical sex can trigger them, but you can trigger them by yourself. These orgasms can become relatively continuous and can become deeper and more profound and no longer centered in the sexual center, but felt throughout the entire body. And even as Stuart Savatsky called some of them, pineal orgasms, with the ecstatic center of bliss being in the pineal gland under the brain. What extraordinary motivation to go deeper into yourself than to have endless and deepening full body orgasms, or constant ecstatic blissful states of energy circulating in and around the body. What wonders begin to unfold in one's life, such as the experiences of telepathy or becoming sensitive to the Earth's magnetic field, like birds feel, or being able to watch grass blades trope to follow the sun through the morning sky into the afternoon. Some people will begin to be able to see in the dark, while others will swoon with ecstasy under the light of the full moon. These are called siddhas, and people like Robert Nisargadatta and the Zen people will say these are all illusory, don't get trapped in them. But if you don't get trapped in them, that doesn't mean don't feel them. If you can feel constant ecstasies without being trapped by them, just allow them to be. What an amazing experience it is, and an attraction for things yet to come that are even deeper and more grand and more blissful. But mostly the feeling you will feel most intensely is an ever-increasing love. Love for your own personal beloved, your life partner, your soulmate, whatever. Love for your family, love for your friends and for your nation. Love for animals, love for plants, love for all of existence. In fact, developing and, that's the editor in me. In fact, developing an ability to love just by practicing love itself quickens the deepening into deeper spiritual bodies within oneself, such as the energy body, the bliss body, the deepening awareness of various energy centers within the multiple bodies one finds. Subtle bodies are in any number of them. For example, chakras, which penetrate all the experiential bodies. The energy centers are not limited to the upper subtle body, but can go down far deeper into the other bodies that Nisargadatta and others talk about, or many subtle bodies. One can watch the chakras each open up, each begin to radiate, and to speak to the other energy centers within one's various levels of subtle body. And all of your spirit becomes unified instead of scattered, dispersed, confused, and feeling hopeless. With an integrated spirit, you gain supreme confidence in yourself, even knowing that the body and even the subtle bodies are transient, because for some reason, the fear of death no longer bothers you. It no longer touches you, because you are realizing you are something beyond even all of the subtle bodies as well as your physical body, because you are aware of them in an ever-deepening way, an ever more ecstatic way. But the witness of these bodies is separate from all of these existential and experiential states. Thus, the label is given to your deepest self. This observer is of being unborn, or the absolute, or the noumenal self. In this path, there is no renunciation of the external world. There is no conscious decision to become a monk or a nun. There is no conscious decision to give up the pleasures of the flesh, but there is a realization that the mundane world has nothing to offer in comparison to the excitement, the pleasure, the bliss, and the quickening of life found once you discover your inner life has vast riches to offer. Eventually, the life force within you, the divinity within you, becomes pleased, as Nisargadatta stated, by your efforts and love, and reveals itself to you in one of the most explosive revelations you have ever experienced, that shakes your being and fills you all with wonder, surrender, and worship of that life force, which you later discover is really you at the deepest level of being, an incarnation of sentience, awareness within this material universe. You discover that this life force is you as an incarnation of sentience into this material universe through the medium of the body. Your sentience is what creates awareness of your physical body and of the experience of the external world through your senses, the senses of the body, which the subtle bodies witness and interpret. This path requires no renunciation, only a turning within to find the wonders, bliss, and pleasure residing within your own being. Also, you will find increasingly intense, ecstatic, orgasmic love for other beings, and other beings walk with you hand in hand on this journey of unfoldment and enlightenment without renunciation at any point. And you also find that you're carrying out your duties in the world regarding your children or parents, your lover or spouse, your boss or employees is still possible, and is done in a much more fulfilling fashion because you are not really attached to the situation. Your real attachment is to consciousness, to awareness, to bliss, and to love. But you can function in the world and also go ever deeper spiritually. In other words, we don't have to listen to Robert telling us, forget your problems. They're only transient. They're not real. Your body's not real. You don't exist. The world does not exist. It's like a mirage, as he would say. What did he call it? A mirage, I guess, is the best word. Anything experiential for Robert wasn't real. The only reality was the deepest body, which witnesses all of it and which rests in quiet bliss. But I know that following the way of searching within for the absolute that Robert talks about is fraught with distractions. It's so easy to get distracted by a new teacher, a new teaching, a new book, a new practice, a new love affair, a new problem at home, taxes to be paid, etc., etc. Because the goal of enlightenment is so far away. You don't feel like you'll ever be enlightened, and you don't even know what the term enlightenment means. And you're striving for something you have no sense for, you have no grasp of. So it's so easy to get distracted. It took me from the time I started, when I gave up the world, to my first sets of enlightenment or self-realizations in 1995, 27 years. And for 15 years after that, I just rested watching the void. Now, 27 and 15 is 42 years. Before I had the second set of realizations, which is realizations of the bliss, the energy, the power of realization of the manifest self, the life force within myself, which is divine, because it is so powerful, you cannot say it is your own. It is just too much to take responsibility and to think that power is yours. But if you try the new way, the way I found in 2009, of being in love, total surrender, total worship of my beloved, and follow a similar path of just feeling within, feeling the emotions, feeling surrender, feeling love so strongly that the love feeling became so large that I became love itself. I became the feeling of love. And within 2 or 3 weeks after that, the life force, or whatever name you want to give it, God, divinity, showed itself to me in what I told you about 1,000 times, an explosion of light and power within, bursting up out of the gut, through the heart, into the head, and exploding out into the world, leaving me feel incredibly powerful. And to be able to shout in joy, I have come alive. From the void, from emptiness, I have sprouted into life. In this joyousness, this bliss of being alive, being with you, feeling love for you, feeling love for others, feeling love for myself. This is not a traditional tantric path, because traditional Tantra has been polluted in the West and has become merely a way to have different kinds of sex under a false sense of being spiritual. It's not any different than heat yoga or power yoga or any of the other ones. They're just perversions of spirituality. Real spirituality is discovering ever deepening levels of self. And in the deepest levels, you begin to go beyond experience altogether. You go beyond everything, even love, even ecstasies. And you see them as something separate from you, yet you are the witness watching all of this. And you can engage in the bliss. You can engage in sex. You can engage in love. You can engage in fighting. You can become Arjuna and Krishna, engaged in the battlefield. As a sportive event, as a playing, instead of as a feeling of heaviness and obligation, like Arjuna felt before killing his relatives. Or other people may feel, abandoning their current lifestyle and their current people of import, and going within oneself to become and actualize oneself. The heaviness one feels at not fulfilling one's sense of responsibility. And instead feel that sense of responsibility as well as everything else within you. All the love, all the energies, all the bliss, all the orgasms. I love you all. I want you to feel these things. I want you to feel the ecstasies that lie just under the surface of yourself and say you have to renounce nothing, just seek the ecstasies within you. And you do that by totally relaxing. Just relax into yourself, into your heart, into your gut, into your womb, to your genitals. That whole area from your throat down, just rest into it. Just relax. Relax your back muscles. Feel the muscles are straining in order to keep you erect. And just relax those muscles. Relax your arms. Relax your chin, your mouth. And just fall backwards into yourself. Fall into your body experience. And the mere focus of your attention on your body is what generates the underlying energies. Attention creates the energies. Everybody knows that just by focusing on your finger, your index finger, for 5 or 6 seconds, you'll begin to feel energies in your finger. When you're well practiced at this, just resting in your body, in your sense of being, you'll begin to feel energies throughout your body. Many of you are feeling them already. Have known them for some time, like Albert. Like Max. And VJ is beginning to. Hooray for VJ. Such perseverance he's had. He's practiced and practiced and practiced for years. And finally is feeling the energies within. Welcome to the deeper and deepening into these energies and into what lies underneath these energies. The perceiver who lies underneath these energies. You're going through a purification period right now, VJ. And it can last a long time or a very short period of time. At this point, are there any questions? Just rest in yourself for a bit before we move on to the next topic. The statement I just read was more or less an announcing of what Dee and I used to call devotional Advaita. But the emphasis even then was on Advaita. But if you put the emphasis on devotion, and Advaita comes later as an afterthought, and why one would put the emphasis on devotion, as well as introspection of Advaita, by finding what is in one's own self, one's own being, feeling it, seeing it, accepting it, then loving it. And whatever is there will transform into bliss. Whether it's a negative feeling, like depression, grief, fear, jealousy, or a positive feeling like love, acceptance, happiness. By just letting them rest within you and allow them to pass slowly into your heart. And by heart, I mean the center of your being that feels like your heart of hearts. The most vulnerable part of your existence. where you feel so vulnerable to anything that you're very careful to let anything into that. And instead, in that vulnerability, to find complete emancipation and enlightenment, because whatever you can allow to go through that vulnerable place within you is then integrated into you, giving you ever more substance and power. Just relax into yourself. Is there some emotion down there that's been bothering you for days? Sadness, fear, love, a problem, a sick mother or father, a dying of a nephew, a sick child, a sick pet that weighs you down, makes you feel burdened, makes you feel a need to take care of. Are you taking care of them joyously or with a sense of burden? I have a sick cat, a dying cat, Ram. Ram is finally getting sicker. He will probably pass pretty soon because he appears to have kidney failure as well as cancer. His only food now is what we give him in syringes in the afternoon and evening. His eyes are watering over, probably with some sort of infection that we're treating with Orbox. Orbox, a certain kind of antibiotic that's pretty broadband and effective without burdening the system too much, because he can't take too much. He's only down to about 5.5 pounds now, down from 10 a year ago. I find it a little bit of a burden, but mostly it's a joy in being able to feed him, to have him held in Karima's lap as she feeds him, or me when I give him medication. He's so fragile now. He's almost like a ghost, a skeleton and a ghost. And in his, what would you call it? His feebleness, his weakness, I worship him. And the 10 years we have spent together, or 11 years we've spent together, I feel happiness in being able to feed him, to set up a certain place for him to lie, to take some photographs of him with his big brothers while they're cuddling with each other for one of the last times before he passes. I feel sadness, true, but I feel joy at his present life, even as it's fading. Sure, I want to cry sometimes. Maybe I will. But overall, I feel so much alive, so much in bliss. I can only worship the life that's left in him and take care of him. Let's meditate for a few minutes before moving on. How many of you are aware of the light within you, the light of consciousness? Can you hold up your hands? Albert? Max? Alex? Angela? BJ? Jonah? Ed? And many don't. So let me teach you how to get to an opening of your third eye, of seeing the light of consciousness. Now, the way I did it was a traditional way, which is to look within here, 1.5 inches or 2 inches behind the physical eyes. And above the eyes, about 1 inch. So it's inside your skull. And the way you're supposed to practice it is by crossing your eyes like this and looking upwards into that area, which causes great strain on certain muscles in the eyes. And with eyes half closed and looking upward, you look for the light of consciousness beginning to form inside somewhere. Now, everybody feels light when they have their eyes half closed. It's kind of an orangish or bluish light where your eyelids are penetrated by light from outside. And this light gets into your retina. But you look for an additional light secondary to that by looking up into this corner here. And you look up there and you look for some light. And I did it for maybe a week or so before I saw any light. And it was a little blue pinpoint, which then over the next 6 months grew into a ball of white light and the orange light coming through the eyelids, and expanded, and I pushed it downwards, this light, into my body, into the darkness of my body, until over a period of 6 months, the light had spread entirely throughout my entire body and around the body and above the body. So the light of my internal world was the same as the light of the external world. They had the same breadth and dimensions. But also I was able to see into the body, my body. And this allows you to do two things. To look within your body and see your lungs, see your diaphragm, see your bowels, but more importantly, to see the chakras as energy centers. You can perceive them as energy centers. And you also begin to perceive the movement of energies throughout your body as colored flows of energy. And at the same time, you feel the flows of energy going around your body, either within, clockwise or counterclockwise. Mine were usually counterclockwise. Around the center of my body, around the heart area. Or you can see them rise up from the gut, go into the heart, and from the heart go outward into the hands on either side, and then outwards into the world. Or it goes up into the larynx, where it becomes a thought, and then it goes into the mouth, where it becomes expressed. Or you can feel the energy moving directly from your heart to other parts and chakras within your body, or you can send it outwards into the world. There's many ways to do that. One is to imaginatively see the energy go out. And the other is to feel it go out in the sense of having a movement from your heart, like something is dissolving and washing away outwards towards its intended object, whether it be your lover, whether it be your pet, whether it be Ram or Max because he needs it, because he looks unhappy. And just have them feel it. Now, at the same time, other things begin to happen. You begin to develop an ability to do telepathy, at least some of you will. To see in the dark. To feel the energies of the Earth's magnetic field so that you can orient yourself according to the magnetic field in the dark. You have many other experiences of visions and lights, which Zen calls nakyo, or illusion, and to be ignored. And Robert said to ignore these too. They're just siddhas, and not to be caught by siddhas. But I say it's good to have siddhas. They're inspirations. They're letting you know that there's some progress, that you're deeper than you were before. You can do things you couldn't do before. Things that other people couldn't even dream of doing, you can do. So, I'd like to do an exercise on how to feelingly begin to initiate seeing the light of consciousness. Who already sees the light of consciousness? Can I see your hands again? I'll pick Albert this time, because Albert has a good capacity to articulate. Albert?
Yes.
Let me get... let me direct you. We'll do a guided meditation, and you tell me what you feel, what you experience. With your eyes closed, if imaginatively, from some part of you, look at your eyes, your physical eyes. Is there anything that you see? Look imaginatively with your inner eye at your physical eyes. What do you see? Tell me what you see.
Well, it's a mixture of the external light coming in, but also there is space like, how could I say, it's empty and it's not empty. It looks like, I don't know, a network of little lights. I don't know. And when I relax more, it just takes kind of over. So for me, it's depending on how relaxed I am. I mean, if I can really let go or not, for me, it's still a difference. So I'm not like my teacher. I'm not stable in this. I have to focus on being relaxed. Otherwise...
Okay. And not the process that you go through, but what are you seeing? Describe the experiences of seeing. What do you see where your eyes are? Do you see anything where your eyes are? If you're looking at your eyes, physical eyes from the third eye, what do you see where your physical eyes are? And it may help you to move your eyes around with your eyes closed so that you feel the sensation of the cornea moving against your eyelids. And you see the changes in the light that's going through your eyelids from the external light. Because it has different intensities at various parts of your eyelid. Or you can move your head around. And
right now my body wants a lot to move. The Kundalini is going everywhere. So it's a bit hard to,
Well, good. Use that movement, the Kundalini, and watch where your eyes are, your physical eyes. See if you see anything there where the physical eyes are.
Well, it's just some light, or I don't know. What I'm not really sure about sometimes is what is just energy and what is light. Sometimes it's not easy for me to distinguish. But it's, right now it's like a shower of light now. I was thinking too much before.
Let me describe what I see. And everybody go along with it. Just listen.
I'm just pure light now.
Okay.
There's no limits now.
Okay. And by meaning you are just light, does that mean you feel light throughout your body and without the space around you?
Yes.
What color is it?
It is mixed with what is coming from outside, but it's white.
Uh-huh. Tell me more about it. Can you say anything else about it?
It is a mixture, not only light, it's also like magnetic energy.
Yes.
It is like, if I would let go, I would just, I have to stay
so you're
seated.
Not only, the real point here is that not only are you seeing it, you're also feeling it at the same time.
I am more a feeling person. I only see it when I will relax, but I always feel it. Like I feel your presence when you say you love us all. It's not you loving me. We are just one field of love,
Exactly. Okay.
So, but seeing is only when I really relax, and it's easier for me when I can keep my mouth shut, because I have the tendency to think too much about these light things. And I always have the tendency, even if I know that it's not true, that I have to do something about it, which is not true. When I truly let go, light is just showering kind of outside in and inside out, and it's just one, I don't know.
Do you feel a circulation of the light energy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. My body wants to move strongly. I'm sorry.
All right.
It must look strange, but that's what I'm supposed to do. As my teacher said, I should let go. If I would not be on camera, I would maybe move around like a crazy man.
That would be great. Go ahead and do it. Take the earphones off and move around like a crazy man. Watch the energies in him.
You are recording. Please don't do that with me now. I would want to share more, but I'm not allowed. My teacher would get pissed with me. She doesn't want me to share when it's recorded.
Okay. Then we'll choose somebody else to work with too then. We'll leave you alone. Okay, how do I cancel that?
I can't.
I have to get other gallery view. All right. Who else would like to work the way that I was starting to work? Anybody? Okay, Alex. Let's get you front and center.
Okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yes.
All right. Oh, okay. Good.
All right, Alex, close your eyes, please. Take the position of being a viewer from the third eye area and sportively look towards where your physical eyes are. What do you see?
Really, it's kind of a pretty dark field. It just looks like it's kind of vibrating a bit.
Do you see the orange from the external light?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a window to my right, and I feel the light coming in through there.
Yeah.
It's starting to get brighter.
Now, imagine to look at the location of your two eyes. Is there anything you see or feel where your physical eyes are? And you might want to move your physical eyes around with your eyes closed, going left, right, up, and down to feel the differences and changes of light and the physical sensations associated with your cornea gliding underneath your eyelids.
Okay, I just did that for a minute. It's a lot of patterns.
Keep going. You might move your head around too. Feel the changes in the external light that's entering and whether that affects any internal light. For example, when I look from my third eye at the location of my two physical eyes, what I see there are two energy orbs that are blue in color, that are round like the eyeball, and have some sort of energy processes going on inside of them. But I also feel the light throughout my entire body because everything is visible inside of me. The emptiness inside is visible everywhere, throughout, even to my toes. And yes, as I move around, the orange changes color. The darkness in my head becomes deep red. And as I look around, the darkness moves around too. Sometimes in my head, sometimes in front of me. Now, after doing this, listening to that, what do you see? What do you feel in your eyes? Physical eyes.
Well, I feel a lot of energy coming in through my third eye and kind of going down through my body.
You feel it?
Oh, feel it very, yes.
And see it?
It's hard to even talk. Oh. And yeah, I mean it's getting, as I move my head around, it's lighter and darker depending on the amount of natural light. I'm in a very dark room, but it's like just sort of patterns and light and dark. And
is there bliss and happiness associated with it? Is that why it's hard to talk?
Yeah. We have a winner. Yes. I mean, it's very much overwhelming. It's, you know, and I find myself having to be, oh, I see a little blue there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sort of purple. And
where are they located subjectively inside yourself?
I'm looking straight out in front of my face. That's where I see it's like a, you know, trying to look down into my eyes and just seeing a.
Now, what are you feeling?
Just a tremendous amount of energy, like sort of in, you know, sort of in all the way, like really kind of bouncing between, you know, my third eye and my root chakra, as though they're just connected by an invisible cord or something. It's,
yes.
You know.
So they're both vibrating.
Yes.
And they're in resonance, so you figure imaginatively there is some connection.
Uh-huh.
But you don't see or feel any connection. You just know it's there.
Well, I mean, I'm feeling them both, and it's coming into my sort of chest area too. So.
Okay. All of the chakras are beginning to light up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what the third eye meditations can do.
Mm-hmm. And this has been something that has been going on with me for a while.
Good. Wonderful.
When it first happened, I thought it was one of those. I was wearing glasses, and I thought, oh, it's just that sensation that you get sometimes. And I took them off, and then I realized that no, it's actually happening. Kind of greenish now, and
where's the green?
It's sort of cycling very darkly through like all these different colors.
In front of you, or is the location in the spine?
It's in front of me, but I feel surrounded.
Okay, good.
I feel like it's just it's. I'm only seeing what I'm seeing, but I know that this is, you know, I'm connected. This energy.
Can you send those energies to the rest of us?
Sure.
Everybody else should close their eyes and see if they can feel and see what he's feeling. There are a couple of different ways that I know of radiating it out. One is to imaginatively and visually, as well as feeling-wise, feel like you're broadcasting it, maybe out through your hands, or your eyes, or your face, or your heart. Another way is to get into the heart area and feel as if these energies are burning off or evaporating from the heart center out into the world.
That's very accurate. So
that's
what
the
I'm
most effective way. Thank you so much. I hope you keep coming for a long time.
Thank you.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
That's too bad. It's a little joke.
It's what now?
A little joke.
Yeah, well, I love it here.
Good.
I have a very beautiful situation.
Good. Anyway, let me lead you all into this guided feeling of inside your eyeballs and inside your third eye. Just either take the position of resting in your head somewhere or somewhere in your body in a relaxed way. And either look up or down to where your eyes are, physical eyes. And what do you see? Do you see energy centers like I do? Do you also see the orange where the external light is coming in and maybe white mixed with it if it's an intense white light from outside? Do parts of it seem redder and darker, like blood almost, like where your third eye is? Or do you see anything where the third eye is, an energy center? Now move your eyes around, keeping still. Move your eyes up, down, left and right, up and down, left and right. Now when I do that, I feel the eyeballs against my eyelids. I feel the movement of the muscles attached to my eyes. I feel the furrowing of my brow a little bit above my eyes. I feel the muscles moving underneath the eyes, moving the face, the skin. And I see the changing external light. And if I move my head, the changes become even more dramatic in the external light. And if you take that orange light and move it backwards into your head and into your chest, you're well on your way to being able to experience the light of consciousness, as Alex just demonstrated, as well as Albert. And to feel the bliss of the Kundalini moving through you. Enrique, how do you experience these energies?
Not as much as you do, Ed. I mean, I close my eyes, I clearly see patterns of the outside light and also patterns from inside light. I love to do sun gazing exercises early in the morning or late in the afternoon. After I do that, if I close my eyes, I do see, obviously, a clear, either white or blue little spot moving around all over. And that can stay there for a while and eventually just vanishes. And what remains is just what we would pretty much describe in just outside patterns and inside patterns of light. The inside ones are more orange, like red, like blood, like you said, and purple. They never go white, really. I mean, and this overall darkness, I remember you doing this a couple of years ago. It used to be very dark. Now is much brighter. I mean, the red and the orange have gained ground in overall the darkness, but still pretty dark. And along with that, I feel a lot of current energy in the third eye. That's what I feel the most. I mean, nowadays I feel this energy in the third eye, this current electricity there, vibrating pretty much throughout the whole day. And sometimes if I meditate, it can get very strong. And there's just very peaceful and very, it's nice energy. That would be my description.
Good. Good enough. Well, we had a fun-filled day today, exploring energies, listening to my bullshit about Tantra in the easy way of following joy and pleasure instead of renunciation that Robert talks about and Nisargadatta talks about, that make it sound so sour to get into Advaita. And instead I say, jump into the bliss inside, but first you have to feel it. Most people, when they look inside, feel nothing. And it takes a while to begin to feel the energies, to be able to see the energies, to be able to go lower than the energies. There's so many different subtle bodies inside. There's the energy body, which we've been talking about mostly, feeling the energies moving inside the body or seeing the energies moving inside the body. I used to see them as colored energies moving inside in circles and outwards from the hands and into the external world, and sometimes as tentacles from my heart that would reach out to somebody else's heart. They were visually there as tentacles. And then there are what could be called the feeling body. And this has two aspects. One is emotions and emotional type feelings. And the others are more subtle feelings, like feeling that there is someone present near or present somewhere else, or feeling astral bodies or entities. And that's the feeling body. Then there are the light bodies, which we're talking about now, and it's hard to differentiate them. It depends on where the light is, but all in all, they just are one. And then there are the energy centers that go through all of the various subtle bodies, from the feeling body to the energy body to the deeper, peaceful, just witnessing bodies. Those same, and also to the physical body. They penetrate all of them. They have different forms. They seem different depending on what layer of the subtle bodies you're working in. And you become aware visually and feeling-wise of the various chakras within yourself, like the sexual chakra, the one right above that where the womb is and where the power is in the hara, the one above the belly button, which is right about here. And it's also associated with being the center of motivation of that physical activity. And then the heart chakra, where love is, where openness is, where relaxation, the receptivity is. Through the throat, where expression takes hold, the ability to communicate, upwards into the brain, which is, for me, not very existent anymore. It's all just empty vacuum up there. I blew my brains out with many years of meditation. It's just emptiness up there. And you can feel other chakras spread throughout the bodies, minor ones and so forth. So you feel energies everywhere in your body, and you can trace them. And when you can know them better, when you know them well, they all sort of talk to each other and are coordinated like from a central place. They all resonate together, and you feel integrated. You're no longer a partial person. You're an integrated person with lots of power. And then there's going deeper yet and recognizing that you, or some aspect of you, is witnessing all of this. You are watching the energy bodies. You are feeling the energy bodies. You are seeing the energy bodies. You are seeing emotions. You are feeling emotions. You feel the body move. You feel the presence of somebody else's electromagnetic field that surrounds them and is touching your electromagnetic field. You sense the energy of the world's currents, the magnetic currents and the electrical currents around you, especially in a thunderstorm when you can feel the electric charges all around. And you notice that this one that is feeling, seeing, perceiving is not the sight, the felt, what is seen, but it's something entirely beyond it. But it cannot itself be seen, felt, or heard. It has no characteristics. And this is what Robert talks about. That which is beyond the senses, that which is beyond the experiential world, that which is beyond the manifest world. The ultimate enlightenment that Nisargadatta talks about. The ultimate peace that Robert talks about. So after a while, you know everything. And the understanding and the experiences just keep deepening and verifying what you've read and what you know deep down inside, and all the other ideas you have about spirituality, and Everybody has tons of them because the spiritual marketplace is filled with so much bullshit. You begin to pick it up and own it as your own. And you have to disabuse yourself from all of these false understandings and find the truth inside of yourself. You know, you could say that the bliss that one feels going within, it's almost as if your body, your physical body, and the subtle bodies within it are a truth detector. Because when you feel truth or when you hear truth, something that's really true, your whole body resonates with a kind of happiness and bliss. And you know what is said is true. Your whole body becomes a truth detector. And a truth of a different kind. It's like words make it resonate, but you feel what those words mean viscerally in your heart and in your gut. And they vibrate and they react so that when a master speaks, you know what they're saying is true. At least some people do that are close to realizing that truth themselves. What a day we've had. A day of excitement and exploration, of feeling love and peace. It's been a good day. Max, you never mentioned whether you made a booking on your plane, did you? I love you all. Patty, Padma, Stephen. Especially Stephen, he needs it. He's from Cow Country, Colorado. Kathleen, Sebastian, Spencer, Ken, Albert, my German romantic, Enrique, my Colombian romantic, Max, my Austrian romantic, Alex, who is a bubble from Brooklyn, from Bronx, which is Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's Brooklyn.
Angela, my Dutch hostess. VJ, where the hell are you from, VJ?
Originally from India, right now Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay. Jonah, I've known Jonah for years and years and years, but we've never really communicated directly that much. But welcome, Jonah. I have a soft spot in my heart for Jonah because I've known him so long. I don't know Jen, Sukai only superficially, Leopold superficially. Haven's been back now. I don't know who Steve is, which Steve that is. There's Walker there. I know him very well. He stayed here. And I don't know what this Jeff is. But hopefully I'll see you all next week at the same time and we can do more of the same. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Keep out of harm's way and keep going inside. Thank you, thank you, thank you.